Good morning, class. My name is Corporal Noah Watts. Today I'll be going over class 071 Charlie Oscar Mike 0804, perform surveillance without the aid of electronic device. Before we get started with the class, I'll do some risk assessment. It's low. The risk assessment for this activity is low. The hazards are electricity, outlets, cords, anything possible to electrocute you, just stay away from. We have fans, so stay away from the fans. Don't put your hands in them, standing up, clapping. Don't want to have an issue with that. We have wires or items on the ground, anything, tables, chairs, extension cords, my charging cable for my laptop, anything can be a hazard. You don't want to trip over it and fall. In case of a fire, the entrance you came in is the way we will proceed out in a manually caution in case of a fire. Green policy, make sure to reduce, reuse, and recycle. If an actor-shooter situation happens, we will get cover, assess the situation, not try to do anything to provoke it. If the situation gets to it, we have the fight instinct in us if it happens. Now we'll go over the PCC items and the PCI items. Your PCC items should be your CAD card, water source, pencil, and paper. I will check them there. Thank you. PCI items are nothing. We don't have any PCI items for this course. Now I'll go over the task conditions and standards. And again, this is class 071 Charlie Oscar Mike 0804. Perform surveillance without the aid of electronic device. Conditions. You are a member of a squad or a team in a defensive position and must conduct surveillance within your assigned sector during both daylight and limited visibility night. Some interactions of this task should be performed in mock form. Standards. Identify potential activity indicators and conduct a visual search of your assigned sector. Submit salute reports as required. Now we'll go over the step-by-step of what we're going to do, the process of it all. Just let me pull it up real quick. So what we're going to do is you will identify potential activity indicators in a sector. You will use sight, sound, touch, and smell. We'll perform observation techniques of the sector, conduct a day observation. You will use rapid scan technique. Pretty much how that's going to work is it's a quick look of your layout, just a quick look. Notice anything in a situation right now, there's not a lot to look, but you can observe of things in the room. In a field, you would notice anything from buildings to maybe fields, trees, all that. The rapid scan technique is used to detect obvious signs of enemy activity. It is usually the first method you will use. You'll search a strip terrain about 100 meters deep from left to right, pausing at short intervals. So you'll go quick, pause, quick, pause, quick, pause. You'll search another 100-meter strip further out from right to left, overlapping the first strip scan, pausing at short intervals. You will continue this method until the entire sector of fire has been searched. Now we will use the slow scan technique. Slow scan search technique uses the same process as the rapid scan, but much more deliberately. This means slower, side-to-side movement and more frequent pauses. So it's just the same thing, but you're observing more. You're going slower, you're seeing more. The details, now we will use the detailed search technique. So this is going to be observing everything and anything that you haven't noticed yet. The detailed search, even more than the rapid or slow scan, depends on breaking a large sector into smaller sectors to ensure everything is covered in detail and no possible enemy positions are overlooked. Likely enemy positions and suspected vehicle dismounted avenues of approach. Target signatures such as road junctions, hills, lone buildings located near prominent terrain features. Areas with cover and concealment such as tree lines and draws. You want to notice anything and everything you can use to your advantage. Now we will conduct limited visibility observation. Use dark adaptation technique. So with this, which we obviously can't do right now, you will go into the dark for about 30 minutes, complete dark. And then you will move into a red light area for about 20 minutes, followed by about 10 minutes in a dark area. It sets you up for better sight in the darkness, if that makes any sense. The red light method may save time by allowing you to get orders, check equipment, or do some other job before moving in the darkness. Now we'll go over the night vision scan technique. So with this scan technique, you look from right to left or left to right using a slow, regular scan. It's in between 3 to 6 seconds, so you have just a slow scan. At night, avoid looking directly at a faintly visible object when trying to confirm its presence. Use off-centered vision technique. The technique of viewing an object using central vision is ineffective at night due to the night blind spot that exists during low illumination. You must learn to use off-center vision. View an object by looking 10 degrees above, below, or to either side of it, rather than directly at it. Shift your eyes from one of the center point to another. Continue to pick up the object in your peripheral field of vision. Now we will go over the salute report that you guys need to know. With the salute report, you have S, size, who, expressed as quantity and echelons or size. For example, report 10 enemy infantrymen. A is activity, what? Relate this line to the PIR being reported. Make it a conscientious bullet statement. Report what you saw the enemy doing, for example, in placing mines in the road. L, location, where? This is generally a grid coordinate and should include the 100,000 meter grid zone designated. The entry can also be an address if appropriate, but still you should include an 8-digit grid coordinate if the reported activity involves movement. For example, advance or withdraw. Then the entry for location will include from and to entries. The route used goes under equipment and how. U, unit, who. Identify who is performing the activity described in the activity entry. Include the complete designation of military unit and give the name and other identifying information or features of civilians or insurgent groups. Time. When. For future events, give the DTG for when the activity will initiate. Report ongoing events as such. Report the time you saw the enemy activity, not the time you report it. Always report local or Zulu Z time. E, equipment. Clarify, complete, and expand on previous entries. Include information about equipment involved, tactics used, and any other essential elements of information not already reported in the previous lines. Evolution preparation setup. Provide the soldier with equipment and or materials described in this condition statement. Brief soldier. Tell the soldier what is expected of him by reviewing the task standards. Stress to the soldier the importance of observing all cautions, warnings, and dangers to avoid injury to personnel and, if applicable, damage to equipment. Now we'll go over your performance measures. 1. Identify potential activity indicators in sector. 2. Performed observation techniques of this sector. 3. Submitted salute report. Now, after going through all of that, I understand that there's a lot we went over, but you guys can read this, you guys will have this, you guys can look over it. At this time, I will give you guys 5 minutes to practice, and what you guys want to do is achieve those performance measures in your practice. Okay, at this time, we will end practice and come back, and what I wanted you guys to do is the performance measures. Identify the potential activity indicators in sector. Performed observation techniques of the sector. Submitted salute report. Now I will go over the task, condition, and standards again. Your task. Conditions. You're a member of a squad or a team in a defensive position and must conduct surveillance within your assigned sector during both daylight and limited visibility. Some iterations of this task should be performed in Mod 4. Standards. Identify potential activity indicators and conduct a visual search of your assigned sector. Submit salute reports as required. I will now evaluate you guys over the 3 procedures. Okay, now, soldiers that have failed have the chance to retain and retrain on the next day, which will be September 22nd at 1300 at the 233rd Military Police Facility, room 50. That'll be Camp Lincoln, Springfield, Illinois. Now we will conduct a PCC and PCI at the end. I need to see your guys' ID cards, your water sources, pencil, and paper. Thank you guys very much. We do not have PCC, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, at this time, we will conduct the AAR. So at this time, we have everyone has a right to speak, and I want to encourage maximum participation. Please don't talk over each other, and as always, be respectful of differing viewpoints. So for this class, we have what was supposed to happen. What was supposed to happen is I just greet the class, brief the risk assessment, overall risk level, hazards, controls, environment. I went over the PCC items. Students will need to complete the task, state the task conditions and standards, give the step-by-step directions, demonstrate the scenario, give the class 5 minutes to practice, ended practice, restate the task conditions and standards, evaluate you guys over the 3 procedures, gave you guys the information of if you failed, when and where you could retake it. I conducted the PCI and PCC at the end, and now we will go over what did happen. What went right and what went wrong. How do I improve training for next time? Summarize the AAR. Were there any injuries or damaged equipment? No. No injuries or damage to any equipment. Were all control measures implemented effectively? Yes. Now at this time, At this time, I would like everybody in the class to do a police call as I review the draw and fill out my final information to make sure all my paperwork is correct. I would like to thank all of the soldiers for the participation. Really helps out. This is the end of class 071, Charlie Oscar Mike 0804, perform surveillance without the aid of electronic device. That is all I have for you, soldiers. Thank you very much, and you are released to your instructors and whatever they have for you.